Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, one of the founders of LSAT Demon and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. With me, I have Eric Johansson, a teacher at LSAT Demon. Eric, we've got an email here from Justin.
Justin writes, "Hi, LSAT Demon team. Before starting my LSAT prep, I had never thought of myself as good at reading comprehension. I was expecting to have equal improvement in both LR and RC, but I am improving a lot quicker at RC than LR. Originally, I was switching between LR and RC every other day, but then I heard your advice on the podcast to do 2 days of LR, then 1 RC, because of the 2 sections on the test. Demon's Choice has me still on level 1 and 2 for LR, but then level 3 to 5 on RC. Should I put even more emphasis on LR? I know you guys say to focus on your weaknesses, and I do not want to get caught in that loop. Your advice would be greatly appreciated. Justin."
I'm happy that you switched to twice as much LR as RC, and really only because that's how much LR there is on the test relative to RC. I do not think that based on your demon ratings, I would change that balance at all. You have room for improvement on LR. You also have room for improvement on RC. I would just, drill, like focus less. This is general blanket advice for pretty much every LSAT student. Focus less on the big picture stuff and focus more on individual LSAT questions. Just spend your time on questions, not on anything else. So what I mean is questions that you attempt, do your best, read it carefully, see if you can solve it. Don't be too quick to pick an answer. Just take your time and get it right. That's your best efforts. Then read written explanations, watch videos if that's a good way for you to learn. If necessary, like if the question is totally easy to you, if you know exactly why the wrong answers are wrong and why the right answer is right, then don't waste your time watching my videos. But if you struggled at all, if it was a 50-50 for you, and certainly if you missed it, then you should do some review. Then if you're still confused, you should use the ask button in the Demon for all demon students. You should definitely use the ask button if you're still confused, because there's a whole team of tutors that are there to help you. But this is all you might be spending 45 minutes or an hour on one question, but that's because it makes sense and you're not reading it correctly. The question solves itself. There's only one right answer. There's 4 wrong answers. You need to be able to solve it yourself. And that means that you need to go deeper into your review to where you really, really understand exactly why the right answer is right and why the wrong answers are wrong. But students don't like to do that, or I don't know. I think sometimes they redirect themselves to this higher level theoretical thing of but I'm struggling more on LR than I am, or it's yeah, okay, great. Back to the individual questions, because you shouldn't be missing these questions. So let's talk about why you missed this one. And I'm not mad at Justin for writing us in. I really appreciate that. But I am going to just say, stop fine-tuning the balance of exactly what you're doing. And if you're working on LSAT questions, then you're doing what you should be doing.
Yeah, and LR will help you with RC, and RC will help you with LR. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that they have in common is that they're literally asking you exactly what they're sort of trying to feed you the answers, because they're giving you a record and then they're asking you questions about the record on both LR and RC. Mm-hmm. And now on LR, there's the additional wrinkle of, okay, but they're giving you an argument instead of just a bunch of facts. Sometimes they're giving you an argument. In fact, most of the time on LR, they're giving you an argument. But still, you have to read what's there. Then they'll ask you a sensible question about what's there. And then you should be able to think about it and have some idea. You can kind of know what you're looking for when you go into the answer choices. And that's the thing that people just don't really, I don't know, they get so caught up in other things and they're just not really comprehending what's on the page.
Yeah. Whenever people ask these high level process questions about studying, I believe it comes from a good place, but it does make me think a lot about my own experience as a runner and how much I can do as a runner that is not running, but makes me feel like I'm a runner. Whether that's listening to podcasts about running. I don't know if I'm calling ourselves out here as podcasters about the LSAT, but it's true that as you are listening to this right now, you are not actually doing the LSAT. Maybe this helps tangentially. Hopefully it does. I believe it does, but you aren't doing the LSAT right now. But as a runner, I can listen to podcasts about running. I can read about running shoe technology. I can look into races upcoming in the area and plan out what my schedule might be. I can think about the benefits of doing 2 fast speed workouts per week versus 1. I can think about different ways that I can structure different times a day, nutrition, all sorts of stuff that isn't running.
Similarly, every golfer is like, well, not me, but watching the Golf Channel, like getting tips, reading stupid Golf Digest, looking at photos of whatever. It's like, well, I don't know. You know what you probably should do is like go hit 3-foot putts because you suck. You like miss a lot of 3-foot putts. You should probably go practice the 3-foot putts because those are why you aren't good. Yeah. Not watching ball speed on camera or whatever. No. Back to the LSAT context. I love our LSAT Demon Live students. I love teaching. I'm so happy that I get to talk to students every week and like interact with them and continue to learn more about the way the test works because I think the test is super fun. But there are students who just like come to class and watch the show. And it's not like a podcast because a podcast, you can do that in the background. You can do that while you're doing other stuff. You can listen to the podcast in a context where you would not be able to do real LSAT questions. But if you come to a live class and you're not engaged, then you're wasting time in the live class because you should be just doing LSAT questions. I suppose maybe some of our students are, in fact, doing other LSAT questions on the side during the class if they're like ahead of the curve, which that's good. I mean, I'm glad you're doing that. Mm-hmm. But for other students, they kind of put it on like it's a show, kick their feet up. And it's like, well, that's great. Happy to have you. Love you guys anyways. Hopefully something's going in. But you realize that this is not the most efficient way that you could be using your study time. Because ultimately it's between you and the words that are on the page, right? It's a written test of reading.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
It really is. I mean, and sure, there's knowledge and there's tips and, there's things that we can do to help you better understand it, especially if we just sort of demonstrate ourselves understanding it. But on the day, we're not there. On the day, it's you and the words, and you have to just read them carefully and understand what it's asking you. So for all this talk of like LR versus RC balance, look, what are they asking you? What did they say? What are they asking you? And you just need to spend time practicing that instead of all of the other trappings of LSAT prep.
Cool. Thanks, Justin. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.